right, ladies. Good to see everyone. Mary, how's it going?
It's going fantastic.
Okay. Mary, you are a two-sport athlete. You know, you and Kristen, I think, have been, outside of Tanya, you're the next longest tenured coaches in this league. It's amazing, right?
It's insane. It feels like yesterday.
Yeah. You played hoops, you played soccer, you've got your kids playing sports and will be playing more sports as they get older. Why do you think Title IX is so important to celebrate? Not to go back and look at the history of what we've gone through, but why should we celebrate it?
Well, I think you have to celebrate what we've gone through so that this younger generation understands what we've been through. I think when I got into coaching, I grew up in the South. There weren't a lot of opportunities for us. Wasn't educated a lot about what the early trailblazers did. And I had an opportunity to go work for Phyllis Mangina at Seton Hall, who had a lot of early experiences in the previous league, AIAW, and she went to Seton Hall over Montclair State, who was winning national championships, and I learned so much about the history of what those people did to get me my opportunity. And I think we've got to celebrate that so that my daughter knows what it was like back then, and so that she continues to feel confident to go chase her dreams. I think that's what some of you student athletes don't understand. Our kids look up to you and understand that they're going to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do, whether it's play basketball, be a neurosurgeon. You guys are such role models, and I think it's really important that you understand the role models that came before you.
I'm impressed by the quality of the character of every young woman that came into my room so far today, because it's a challenge for you guys to keep up with them, right? I mean, they're so smart and they're committed and they're happy, and that's awesome, right? You can just see it. Rochelle, welcome to the league.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you've got a pretty good team too coming into the league. So you're a two-sport athlete also. You've played at Murray State, but I liked your second sport that you played golf, so that's my second sport too. I love that. Explain some of the experiences that you've seen through your lens as a high school coach and coaching all the years that you've been in. You've been in the game a long time too.
I think that, obviously Title IX has played a key role in the rise and participation of young women, especially in golf and basketball as well. But I think the advancement of the youth programs around the nation have been big, and adding teams to high schools. And then the colleges experiences that the players get in golf and basketball. For me, I had the two things you had to have to be on the first Murray State golf team. I had a heartbeat and I had clubs. and that was all that was required. But I think 14 conference championships later, it's come a long way. So, just to see the glimmer in the eyes from the kids at summer camp, or, being on the golf course and seeing a father with his young daughter out there playing, just to grow the game of golf is important to me, but also just to grow the game of basketball. And I just think that the opportunities that are afforded our young women are helping to do that.
We are going to love your sweet tea Southern accent in the Missouri Valley. Let me just say that. Awesome. All right, Kristen Gillespie. Now, full disclosure, we're part of a sisterhood at NC State. I played at NC State. Kristen played, but she took a team to a Final Four in '98. I didn't get a chance to do that. Kristen, we always ask about Coach Al questions whenever we have you here, because you and I both know how, and everyone here knows the influence, or I hope you know. If you don't, Google K-Yao. What would you say would be some of the things that you may have learned from her through the grind of coaching that you carry forward into how you go about approaching the game with your team right now?
Geez, there are so many things. I was so fortunate to be able to spend 4 years as a student athlete playing for Coach Yao. And then I came back as a graduate assistant for 2 years. And then when Coach got sick, I was fortunate enough to be named a special assistant. So when she was too sick to coach, I would kind of slide in an assistant role. So, I mean, it's hard to put in words the impact she's had on my coaching career. By far, my biggest inspiration of her, you know, she was a trailblazer. She was the only coach for 34 years at NC State. I was telling Mary and Deanna when we were driving here some of the stories and of how we got to know each other. That's so unheard of for one coach to be at a university that long. And the tie, you know, we are K Phi Yao. That's our sorority, and that's
We called it Phi Kappa Yao.
the cooler younger generation. K Phi Yao. It flows a lot better, you know. I think so. But as hard as Coach Yao worked, and she told us stories of how she used to do the laundry and drive the bus, and I mean, it was wild. Even back then, we didn't travel as well as we did when I was playing, but it was still much better when she got started. But, you know, it's just, she never forgot her roots. You know, I learned what a servant leader was by watching Coach Yao. You know, little things. When we would go to airports and we would arrive, she would be the first one in line. We would do the assembly line of getting the bags off, and Coach Yao would be the first one. She would grab each bag and hand it off, and I think it was just a great example to our young women that, you know, she's not above anything. And then she would always tell me, and I say this to, you know, all of our players, she said, I am in charge of your memories. And that's such a weighted statement. That's something that I take so serious as a head coach. Every day is not going to be a great day or perfect, but I'm in charge of Mary Crompton's memories at Illinois State, Deanna Wilson. And that is the most important thing I do. And I hope and pray that when they leave, they'll share some of the same memories that I had playing for Coach Yao.
Ashley, you also played in the league. Now you're coaching in the league. But all this driving the vans and washing, you know, you don't know anything about that, right? So let me ask you this about being here in Moline and about a neutral site, because you've won a Valley Championship as a player. Kristen just won one this past year in Moline. Tanya alluded to it earlier. Allison was talking about the neutral site. Why is it important to have a neutral site?
Yeah, can I comment on what she just said real quick, because it almost made me cry. That's so cool, just that you're in charge of the memories of your kids, and just, it's crazy just how when we get in this seat, like, we're still learning every single day, and just the opportunity to listen to everybody in this room speak has been awesome, and I've been soaking it up. But that really hit home, and that's cool that you guys had the opportunity to coach, or to play.
I'm glad you said that, because I was getting ready to have her mic cut off right after she said I was old. But go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. But no, so awesome. But no, being back here, it's surreal. Coming back to just the Valley and just seeing the print and being a part of it again, and it's an amazing experience. And the neutral site piece, it's funny because before I got to Illinois State, I started there in 2006. In 2004, Illinois State was the last seed in the Valley tournament, and they hosted, and they won it. So obviously, you know, a significant, and Leanna's, she's shaking her head yes. There's a significant advantage to playing at your home court. And so the opportunity to just level the playing field for everybody and allow the most consistent and competitive team to go on and represent you in the NCAA tournament, I think is huge.
Chris, what do you think about it? I mean, obviously you won. You were talking to me before about some of the things about Moline that you really liked. I mean, it's memories.
It's great. Whitey's ice cream, love it. We hit it up at riding in. Probably our second favorite thing about Moline. You know, winning the championship was good, but I think those two would tell you Whitey's is right up there. But like Ashleen said, it's that level playing field. You know, and that's so huge. You know, it's hard enough to win 3 games in 3 days, but to know that everyone is on equal footing. So to speak, and it's just, you know, it's exciting. You know, your fans get to come, and it feels like a big time atmosphere, and I know that we are so thankful to have that opportunity.
Rochelle, this is a 2-bid league pretty consistently, right? The OVC wasn't. All right, so it's a little different now. As you're navigating that kind of landscape and about the relevance of the league on the national stage, how do you see that?
Oh, it's huge. I've talked to our young women. They had 10 teams last year. 5 went to postseason, and that was unheard of in the other conference. And, you know, we had the pleasure to be in the same conference with Belmont, and they were just dominant. And to see them go on and win games in the NCAA tournament was huge. But for our players to understand that the standard, it just went up. And so the standard for our program every single day has to go up. So I think that it is going to inspire our whole women's basketball program to be better, and I think that's what it's all about. So, we're excited about the challenge. We're excited to be amongst great people, great coaches, great programs. But, we want to prove we belong, and so we've got to get better each and every day.
I don't know if the kids in here realize the evolution of television on the women's side and how the game has evolved. ESPNU now covers the championship game here. That's a big deal. Mary, when you're looking at television from, a perspective of, where you've been and the programs you've been a part of, now the Valley has a national TV package on ESPN, and the U carries the championship. Depending on who the two teams are that are playing in it, it may get bumped up too. There's a chance that could happen. How has that evolved over Title IX?
I mean, when I was growing up, and we won't say what dates that was, you didn't get to see any games. About the only game that was on TV was the national championship game. So to see where we've come over the course of the year with the championship being covered more by ESPN to the ESPN Plus platform, where now my kids grow up watching women's college basketball every single night from November 7th until the tournament ends. It's just amazing. And I think going to the U is going to be even better, because now that fan that maybe thinks like Mark did when he was in high school turns on, flips around, sees something, goes, wow, these women really can play. I want to see that more. And I think hopefully it'll help us capture some viewers that we don't normally see. And hopefully it'll continue to grow our brand across the nation. And again, growing up in the South, I knew nothing about the Valley until Jackie Stiles got on the map. And then I learned a little bit about it. So it's just, I think it's going to be an amazing thing for the league. It's going to continue to help grow our platform. It's going to continue to help young women dream and believe about the things that they can do, and continue to work and push and try to be the best version of themselves.
I can't ever do a Valley thing without doing my Jackie Stiles, which I've had the great pleasure of covering her entire career. Sorry, Allison. Rochelle, same question that I asked Tanya. I'm interested about what you're most concerned about. We have decision makers, leaders, people that are going to help shape the future of our game. They're in this room. What would you say to them about the next 50 years for Title IX?
I think it's imperative that if nothing else, we continue to empower young women. We continue to inspire them to want to set goals and work to achieve them. I think that, walking in that elementary school today, you just see all kinds of opportunities. And we even stopped reading for a second to ask, what the kids in our group, what sports they were interested in and things like that. And one of the girls said cheerleader, but that was okay. But
it is a sport.
But to know that she has the opportunity to be that if she wants to be. Right. But I do think moving forward, not only athletically, I think the education piece is huge. And I just think making sure every young girl knows sky's the limit. And I think that that's just important.
One final thing for you four is I want you to give me Title IX in one emotion.
Thankful.
Expanding.
Opportunity.
Yeah, expanding's not an emotion, sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
I said pin down, not flare.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Empower.
Who said empower? You say it?
I did.
Okay. That is fantastic, and that is a great way to celebrate 50 years of Title IX. So thank you to Jeff and Moline for allowing us to have this opportunity together. You may be dismissed. I think that just about wraps it up for us, right? Is there any announcement or anything that we need to pass forward? Okay, I'm going to hold the head coaches accountable for making sure that their athletes have met someone new before the day is over with. And I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here. Thank you, Mayor, for your incredible hospitality. And we look forward to seeing everybody for March Madness here in Moline. Jack. All right. Good stuff.